Hello book friends! Today we are going to be doing the Pride flag tag, which was created by Common Spence. Thank you, Common Spence. I love your content, and I am doing this today because last weekend was Cardiff Pride. I went with my friend. There'll be a picture here. LGBT plus is something that's very near and dear to my heart, and the reason that I was at Pride was because I in fact have two flags. One is the pansexual flag. Hi, she's pretty. And the other, which is more my aesthetic, is the demisexual pride flag. These are my wings. I was a pride fairy. Oh, and FYI, all of the books that I talk about today will also be revolving around LGBT plus characters, so as an extra layer to this. So if you're looking for some queer recommendations, then I've got you covered on that. The tag follows the colours of the flag and what they mean. So first is red, which is life, and for this I had to choose a book character that gives me life, who's totally confident within themselves, and for this I chose Carry On, because Baz and his entire style and his snarky bitchness, it gives me life. It gives me beyond life. I cannot wait for Wayward Sons to come out in September. I genuinely love Baz so much. In fact, I was really on the fence about this book for the first 50 pages, which are just Simon's perspective, but the moment that Baz's perspective came in was the moment that I knew that I was gonna love this book. I think that Rainbow Rowell should have brought him in much sooner, but that is why I gave it 4 stars and not 5. As for the LGBT rep in this book, it is very widely known that it's a male-male romance is one of the key parts of this book. I mean, this cover is really quite gay. Like, you could pick this up, look at it, and be like, yeah, they're gonna, yeah. They're gonna at least make out. Like, they're almost about to. Look at that. The next colour is orange, healing, and for this I need a book that gave me a deep understanding of something about myself. For this I chose Catwoman Volume 1, Tale of the Catwoman, because it's not necessarily this specific comic that did it for me, but Catwoman as a general, because I didn't understand my sexuality for a very, very long time. I was very confused, and that's part of being on the asexual spectrum. Demisexuality lies perfectly in between everyone else and their usual sexualness and asexuality. So this really helped me find that part of myself and understand that I wasn't completely excluded from the concept of sexual attraction, because Catwoman is my biggest fictional crush ever. In fact, I do have a tattoo of Catwoman on my body, which I got 2 days after I turned 18. I'll put a picture here, and I really felt excluded from both groups after that, but it got me to a point where I was it got me to a point where I understood myself enough to know that I wasn't asexual, and I wasn't, but I still wasn't just pansexual. I lied in between those things, and that ended up being panromantic and demisexual, and this is just the first step in that journey. So I have a very, very big thank you to Catwoman for that. For those of you who don't know, very recently in the new DC comic, Catwoman was confirmed as bisexual. She is a queen, she's a leather queen who likes women and men, and I'm a woman who likes Catwoman a lot. To a sad degree, really. Like, she's just a perfect woman. She's confident. She can steal me nice things. She isn't slut-shamey. She helps the needy. I mean, what else do you want from a woman? She is very flirtatious. Like, you're not going to get bored of her. She's everything that you could ask for. And that is why I hate Harley Quinn. No, joking. I just think she's a little bit overrated. Next is Yellow, which is Sunshine, which is a book that could bring you joy even on your darkest day. And for me, that has got to be Tales of Shadowhunter Academy, bar the last story, because no, that left me in a, oh, I can't, that just gave me historical crying. But for the most part, these short stories follow Simon, who's a very comical character. He was often the comic relief in the Mortal Instruments series, so his narrative is intrinsically funny and happy and comical, and reading this was such an amazing journey because it just made me feel happy. It gave me this default of happiness and I absolutely loved it. Not many book characters that I read personally are happy people. Most of them are very, very troubled and dark and everything. So it was a very, very nice break to be with someone who was utterly joyful in their nature. Within this book there are two gay couples that star in some of the short stories. So there is the Mortal Instruments gay couple, which everyone knows, which is Malik, and then there is another gay couple, which is a female-female gay couple as well. Next is Green, which is Nature, a book which is set out of our world, particularly. For this, I'm going to have to use a thing because I've lent them to one of my friends, which is The Young Elites. It doesn't take place in our world, it takes place in like a fantasy, medieval Italy inspired place. There's loads of masks and everything, and it follows a very dark character called Adelina, and I absolutely love the world that's built in. There's gods and angels, and the story follows the result of a big illness that ravaged the place, and it left some select people with powers and they rebel, and it's just amazing. It's a very, very mixed review book. I think you really have to be into like unlikable characters and darker atmospheres because it is very dark, and Adelina is a very unlikable character, specifically in the first book. But I absolutely love this world. I think it's so rich and amazing, and I mean, I love those books. If I was going to be a pusher of anything, it would be that. And within that series, there is a bisexual, well, we don't know whether he is bisexual. It is revealed very, very, from the start that one of the characters, Raphael, who works as a consort in a brothel, that he likes men and women. So I don't know whether he would be bisexual or pansexual, but he is an amazing character, and his interpersonal relationships with other characters are also amazing. Next is Blue, which means peace. So for this I needed a book where a character comes to terms with something very hard in their life, and for that I chose The Colour Purple by Alice Walker. I don't want to spoil this for you, so it's actually very, very, very hard to explain what it is in this book this character comes to terms with, but there are a couple of things. Oh, how do I word this without spoiling it? Oh god, oh no, oh god, okay, oh god. This character goes through a very religious kind of transformation, and also all the relationships in her life are not what you would think they were at the end of this book. They are very, very different, and she has to come to terms with that. This stars a female-female romance, so that is its element of gay, if you will. And I really like this. I read it recently. It's told in the format of letters. It's very interesting. Would recommend you this if you like a character emotionally coming to terms with changes in their life. Lastly, we have purple, which is spirit. And for this, I needed a book that stars religion and sexuality. And for this, I chose Release, which I listened to the audiobook for this month, which I absolutely loved. Oh my god, I cannot get over how much I loved this book. This book follows Adam and basically the worst day of his life. A lot happens in this, but Adam is gay and his father is an evangelical preacher. So you can imagine that that is not something which really rubs anyone the right way. He has a bit of a trepidatious relationship with his father and his mother and his brother for this reason. He never stops being him, but he just doesn't talk about it around them. And isn't Adam particularly who has this journey with religion necessarily. He's kind of just a bystander to it. He's just kind of in that environment at the point where we join him. He'd already done this, but he still has the leftover kind of effects of that and the effects of being in that environment. It's actually a different character, which I won't tell you who, that has the real journey with the idea of reckoning LGBT love with the Bible. I really would recommend it to anyone who also grew up in a rural place where lots of people are religious. I genuinely think that this is a great book. Another character in it is also religious and has had male relationships. The character Enzo, Adam's ex-boyfriend, is Catholic, so I really love that about it. So that is it for today, book friends. I have been Tyrion, your business goth. Be accepting and loving, and I will see you soon. What is his name? Don't remember characters' names a lot. That's why it was 4 stars.